Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to do a quick video and I have a guest tonight.
Hello everyone, this is Sniffing Out Pharisees, aka Daniel Perez.
Yes. So tonight we are going to just share our testimonies. Basically just go through what all we knew about Christianity before the truth, our experiences with church and just growing up before believing the true gospel. So, Daniel, do you want to tell a little bit about growing up, your experience with church, and what you believed?
Well, I've been around church for basically my entire life. I believe the first church I went to, it was a Methodist church. And I don't even think I was a teenager. I was probably like 10 or 11 or something. We went to that church for I would say a few years, and of course I don't remember like what type of gospel they preached in that church, because I was too little. I didn't even care about all that stuff. I just saw church as, just like as a chore, just going to get it over with and whatnot. So I went to that Methodist church for a few years. Then when I got into my teens, we went to another church. It was a Pentecostal, I guess you could say. The church name was Calvary Assembly of God. Like the Methodist church, I don't know what type of gospel they preach, because again, I didn't really care about all that. I was still a teenager. But I think at this church was when I was probably like 13 or 14, somewhere around there. That church had like a bunch of clubs, and I joined a boys club. It was called Royal Rangers, and we would. It was every Wednesday night, I believe. I would go to that club, and then my parents would go to their Bible study. And in this club, in this Royal Rangers club, we would do like a bunch of boy activities, right? Playing outside, football, tag. We even went camping one time, paintball, stuff like that. We would have like short Bible studies, and there was a guy, Commander Jim, we called them. It's kind of funny. It was Commander Jim, and then Commander, I don't know, there was like two other men. But Commander Jim would like preach like a small sermon every Wednesday night, and then after the sermon we would all like head down to the gym. Of course, that was the best part, right? But yeah, eventually in this club, I believe in this club was when I got saved, right? And again, I was like 13 or something. Commander Jim, one night, he said something like, "All right, do any of you want to accept Jesus as your Lord?" Right? I'm sure it went something like that. You like raise your hand or whatever. But I believe I got saved because I remember understanding that I was a sinner. I was afraid of going to hell, so I raised my hand, and I believed in Jesus, and I believe I got saved. That was when I got saved. around 13, in my teens. Yeah, but I definitely was not 100% solid on the free grace, the grace gospel. And then after that, a few years went by. I was under bondage to legalism until my 20s, I'd say. I actually got into apologetics before I even understood the gospel completely. I went through an apologetics phase. I would watch Frank Turek. He's
Classic.
famous apologetics guy. Ravi Zacharias. Who else? Yeah, just all the apologetics guys. I was really into that. I would debate atheists and whatnot, like in the YouTube comments and stuff like that. And then eventually I moved on to, because I was still unsure about the gospel. I was still scared deep down. I didn't know if I was even saved. I was still under bondage. So I was just on YouTube one day, and then a Jack Smack video popped up in my recommendations, and I clicked on one of his videos, and when I was watching his videos, it all made sense. It was definitely a light bulb moment. And of course, I don't agree with Jack Smack. I believe he's Galatianized. He's living by law. But he has the going to heaven gospel correct. That's basically pretty much it. But at the same time, I'm grateful that I found one of his videos, because there's hardly any good stuff on YouTube. So I don't believe it was a coincidence that I found his video, and I just binged a crap ton of his videos. And I was just mind blown when I found the grace gospel, at least going to heaven when I die gospel. I'm grateful that I found that. Then I found David Benjamin's videos, and I believe I went even deeper into grace, because not only does David Benjamin have the going to heaven when you die gospel, right, but he also has the how to live the Christian life, right, which is by grace through faith. The just shall live by faith, right. I personally believe David Benjamin is like a modern day Apostle Paul. Now, I could be completely wrong, but I think he's the closest thing we have. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I guess to summarize all that, I've been around Christianity for basically all my life. But I would say only about 5 years I've been around, grace. Whether it be going to heaven when you die, or going to heaven when you die and live the Christian life by faith. So, yeah, now I'm here in present day. I don't know, I haven't really been doing any type of Christian stuff as of recent. I just haven't had the thirst of doing any of that. I don't know. I've gone through a dry season. I don't know.
A season of rest.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. But yeah, sorry if that was too long. I don't know if you wanted to say anything.
Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anything. Yes. I don't know if you wanted to say anyth I would say my story is kind of similar. Growing up, my family was not religious at all. So my experience with church was pretty much my mom dropping me off at church or going to church with my grandma. I went to a lot of different churches, a lot of different messages coming my way. I know for a fact, like, my mom has videos of me in church singing and clapping at 3 years old. So I've always somehow been in church, even with my family not being religious, which is pretty interesting. My grandparents went to an Assembly of God church. That's Arminian. And then I know I went to a few vacation Bible schools and Awana and things like that, which are all Baptist. And then in high school, I ended up going to a Church of Christ private high school. That is pretty much where I guess the whole legalism thing started for me, because I actually remember specifically a time I went to church with my friend and her family, my friend from school, and they were doing communion, and I went up with them to do it. And afterward, my friend was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were saved. I didn't know you were baptized." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" She's like, "Yeah, you're only supposed to do that if you've been baptized, if you're saved." I was like, "Oh." It's like, "Well, I just thought everyone did it if you believed." And so that's kind of the point where Church of Christ believes you have to be baptized. So they actually scared me into getting baptized, pretty much. But after high school, I went to college, and I tried churches in the area around the school. I tried the Church of Christ church. I think I went to a few Baptist churches, and then I settled on a non-denominational church, which they're kind of just like a mixture of everything, honestly. Like they're a Lordship Salvation, but yet still sort of Arminian things going on too. It's really weird. But I didn't go there consistently, so I was kind of in and out of church after high school for like 10 years. I think after COVID, that whole year was rough. I decided I wanted to go back to church. So, of course, I went back to the non-denominational church, and I made the mistake of getting on YouTube and watching a bunch of Paul Washer and Todd Friel, Wretched, Alan Parr, Ray Comfort, all the really bad channels, which of course led me to have a total mental breakdown when I realized that I could not live up to the standard that they all say that they live up to. Of course, they believe they live up to it. But it was in that mental breakdown that I went searching, which I shared on one of my previous videos. The verse that pretty much says that Jesus' burden is light. That made me just question everything. So I'm like, this is not easy. So something is seriously wrong here. But just one day I was on YouTube, and somehow I came across one of Greg Jackson's videos. And that's where it clicked for me. And then from his channel, I found David Benjamin. And then I just kept finding more and more channels from there that were under like the free grace title. That's pretty much the story. Somehow, coming from a non-religious family, going through like 4 or 5 different denominations, I ended up here. So, what made you decide to start doing YouTube videos?
That was actually the question I was gonna ask you. What made me start doing YouTube videos? Well, I binge watched a bunch of Jack Smack. So I would say he was definitely an inspiration for me, ironically. But it's interesting because even though he inspired me to make videos, I made videos out of anger and frustration because of all the junk that's out there. Especially like with like my exposure videos on the Sniffing Out Pharisees channel. Yeah, my main fuel, I guess, to make videos was anger, and it was very exhausting mentally. I was it made me bitter, and that's one of the main reasons I don't make exposure videos. If I ever do make one, I hope it's not out of anger or bitterness. But I don't know if I could do that. But yeah, I kind of went off on a tangent there. But yeah, Jack Smack, he's the one who inspired me to make videos. But now I'm just waiting on God to inspire me to make videos again. I want to enjoy making videos. I don't want to force it. I don't want to like if I don't want to make a video, I don't want to force myself to make one, even if I don't want to. So, what about you?
So for me, I'm basically, after I heard the true gospel, I just got like a passion for sharing it. And I would always just share it on my personal Instagram page, along with like end times related things. And one day I just realized, I was like, I'm sharing all this stuff just for it to delete in 24 hours. So I might as well like upload what I'm sharing to YouTube so it'll actually stay. So that's mainly why I made the YouTube, is just to have a place to put my thoughts that wouldn't delete after 24 hours. But I never really had an interest in sharing the gospel. Actually, it terrified me to like share it, probably because the gospel before seemed like a burden, like nobody would want it. So I can see why I wouldn't be interested in sharing it. And like at my non-denominational church, they had us take a spiritual gift quiz. And I remember being so disturbed that my answer was, one of them was evangelism. I was like, there's no way. Like, how did I get that? And now I'm like, oh, it was pretty much right. I just needed the right gospel to be able to use that. So yeah, That's why I made my channel.
Alright, so I have a question. So you said that you used to think baptism saved you? Is that correct, or?
So I didn't always believe that. Like when I went to my Church of Christ high school, that was kind of like indoctrinated into me because it was a foreign concept to me when I got there. But like I went there from like 5th grade through senior year. And so they very heavily teach that you must be baptized or you cannot be saved at all. It doesn't matter if you're like on your deathbed and you can't get to the water. And I guess it's pretty much like baptismal regeneration. So they think the water does something special, I guess. And it's wild because a lot of my classmates would tell you right now that if you ask them, are they saved? They'll say, yeah, I got baptized 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And that's literally their answer, which is sad. But yeah, for a little bit there, yeah, I did believe that, basically because they scared me into it. And I remember in senior year, I was the only one that hadn't been baptized yet. And people would just look at me like I was a hell-bound heathen. And one day they just finally got me, and my anxiety got so high that I got baptized at like 1 a.m. in a fountain from the school's principal. But yeah, after that I was like, oh, thank God, I'm finally saved. Yeah, but Church of Christ is something else. It's a whole cult, and I'm glad God got me out of there.
I got baptized, but I don't think I ever thought that baptism is what saved me. I don't think I ever thought that. I don't know if the church taught that, but I don't think they did. But when I got baptized, I don't know if I think when I got baptized, when I went under the water, I swear I remember like opening my eyes under the water, and I swear I saw like it was literally, I feel like I saw like a dove almost. Like it was weird. Like under the water, the light was distorted, and it looked like the water distorted the light into a dove. And that happened for like literally like, like 2 seconds or however long you're under the water, like during, when you're baptized. But yeah, I just thought that was, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, and I'm like totally not against baptism. I think it's a good thing to do. Symbolic of being buried with Christ, like dying with Christ and being raised to the newness of life.
Yeah.
But it is not required for salvation. It does not prove you're saved. I think the Lutherans use it as the fact that you have a desire to be baptized proves you're saved or something like that. Nope, it's not any of that, but it's a good thing to do. Not discouraging anyone from doing it. Okay, so for your YouTube channel, do you have any goals you'd like to reach, or anything in the future that you would like to do on your channel?
As of right now, I have a take it day by day mindset. I don't know what the future holds. I never thought I would be making YouTube videos, especially like preaching style YouTube videos. So I have no idea what the future holds for my YouTube channels. But I hope I can get inspired into making videos again. Yeah. What about you? Do you have any goals for your channel?
I try to only do videos when I feel like it's just natural, like ideas pop into my head on their own and I don't just try to force it.
Yeah.
But definitely my channel, I really want to get some more end time videos out, since I definitely believe we don't have very long left. So on those, I am working to get those out a little faster. But as far as goals, I don't really care about subscribers or making money off of it or anything like that. If anything, I more care about the views, even if people don't follow me off the views, because at least they saw it. And if they at least hear the gospel, hear the truth, that's good enough for me. I don't need them to follow or subscribe or whatever. That's pretty much what I see going forward with my channel.
Yeah, we definitely need more grace-based end time channels. I don't think I'll ever do end times type stuff. I don't really have a thirst for that, but definitely if you have a thirst to make videos about that, then by all means do that. I know there's a verse talks about how we all have different different jobs or whatever. Not everyone is an ear or whatever. And if the whole body was an ear, then what about the eye or whatever? I don't know. I'm butchering that. But point is, everyone has different. Everyone's different. We all have different thirsts.
Yeah.
So that's good.
For sure.
All right. So another question. Do you still go to church?
I don't go consistently, but we do have a Free Grace church that is within 45 minutes of my house. So I do go there every once in a while, and actually the pastor of that church follows and supports my channel, which is great. He comments on pretty much every video. But yeah, I do go there occasionally. What about you?
No, I haven't been to church in, I would say, maybe 10 years. So, yeah, and I don't think I'll ever go back to church unless it's hardcore grace church.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's very hard to find a church that won't try to beat you out back. So if you want to keep your, conscience clear, steer clear from legalism, not be shipwrecks, you may have to forego the institutional church, especially in the last days, because it's getting pretty wild.
It'd be interesting to see if there are any, grace-based churches around here. I actually thought about making videos of me recording, I guess like a GoPro point of view or something, and me
Yeah.
walking into a church to see if they were grace or if they were works. I thought about making like a series of me walking in, to a bunch of churches to find a grace church.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like an undercover church type.
Yeah, but I feel like they would like tell me to stop, recording. If I just walk in with like a camera like around my chest or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea though. Very unique. I don't think I've seen anyone do that kind of video.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I believe that's all of the questions that we have for each other. Hope you guys enjoyed getting a little bit more of a personal insight into both Daniel and myself. Just more details about who we are behind the scenes. I guess that is it for today. Stay tuned. I do plan to do more End Times videos soon. And thanks, Daniel, my guest tonight.
Bye, guys. See ya.
Signed, your free grace sis.